Johnson and Smythe were interviewed for us by Brian Begg.
Flying Officer Johnson and Flying Officer Smythe. And Flying Officer Johnson first, tell us exactly what had happened.
Well, the whole story began last Tuesday when we were flying in a vampire night fighter over Kent and at 20,000 feet, and I first sighted this object. The first sighting was of a tiny pinpoint of bright light. My first impression was that it was a star shining through the overcast, and I looked around to see if there were any more stars, but obviously there weren't. And I continued watching this thing, and for about 15 to 20 seconds it remained stationary, neither moving left or right. After this time, the thing obviously was moving towards us, and before it reached the overhead position, I nudged my navigator, Flying Officer Smythe, to have a look up. By the time it got to the overhead position, it appeared to be moving at quite a fast, fantastic speed, and my impression of it, more or less a photographic impression, was of a round object, quite distinct outline, still with the same intense light, with the maximum light around or towards the periphery of the circle, not quite so intense in the center. The size, the only thing I can compare it with is the sun or the moon, and I had said that the size was approximately half to three-quarters of the size of the moon. Its height, well, there again, I haven't anything to compare it with.
There's no cloud on that day?
No, there's no cloud at all. The visibility was about 100 miles. From where we were, we could actually see the other side of the Isle of Wight.
And what about its speed?
Well, I can't give any indication of speed, as I can't give a true idea of the height. The only thing is I can say that the impression was of an object very much higher above us, and therefore, depending on height, would depend on speed, but truly has a very fantastic speed in roughly the opposite direction.
Thank you very much. Well, Flying Officer Smythe, can we have your side of the story?
Well, I was rather busy at the time, and I didn't see anything until the pilot told me to look up. And when I looked up, I saw this bright object almost immediately overhead, going in the opposite direction at quite fantastic speed.
And could it have been any sort of meteorological instrument or balloon, in your opinion?
Well, I don't think so. We've gone into this business, we've argued it out amongst ourselves, and we haven't yet arrived at anything conclusive. We don't think it was a met balloon, we don't think it was another aircraft.
You're pretty used to seeing those?
I've seen quite a few.
Quite a few. Yeah. Well, what about your conclusions? You say you've drawn none. What did you think about this whole flying saucer story before you came across this one, or this event?
Well, up to this time, I was a confirmed skeptic, but now I think I have an open mind.
You're still open mind?
Just an open mind.
Right, well, thank you very much indeed.
RAF intelligence officers are now investigating every report of so-called flying saucers over Britain.